The discovery. Dr. Sarah Chen stood motionless in the dimly lit control room of the quantum signal detection array, her eyes fixed on the dancing patterns across her holographic display. After 15 years of scanning deep space for signs of intelligent life, the QSDA had finally captured something extraordinary, a signal unlike anything ever recorded. "Director Matthews, you need to see this," she called out, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. The facility's director hurried over, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the quantum processors that lined the walls. The signal pulsed with an impossible complexity, carrying patterns that defied conventional physics. But thanks to the quantum computer's processing power, they could see what normal systems would miss: a vast network of communication spanning the galaxy, hidden in the very fabric of space-time itself. "They've been here all along," Sarah whispered, "watching us, planning." She manipulated the holographic display, revealing the decrypted contents of the transmission. "It's a resource survey report, sir. They're cataloging Earth's deposits of something they call quantum resonant materials." Director Matthews' face darkened as he read the translation. "How long have they been monitoring us?" "Based on the timestamp signatures, decades, maybe centuries." Sarah pulled up another data set. "But that's not what concerns me most. Look at this section. They're preparing for acquisition. They think we're primitive, easy targets." What the aliens didn't know, couldn't know, was that humanity had made its own quantum breakthrough years ago. Project AGS, a global initiative hidden from the public eye, had already transformed human civilization. While maintaining a careful facade of typical technological progression, nations had secretly united to develop defenses against the very threat they'd long suspected would come. In an underground facility beneath the Australian outback, Dr. James Rodriguez supervised the final calibration of the quantum shield matrix. Similar installations existed on every continent, their existence known only to a select few. The shield technology could render entire cities invisible to advanced scanning methods, and if necessary, redirect enough energy to vaporize a small moon. General Diana Patil of the United Earth Defense Force received the alert from the QSDA facility while reviewing troop deployments in her Singapore command center. She immediately initiated Protocol Omega, sending coded quantum encrypted messages to military leaders worldwide. Humanity would face this threat united, but first, they needed to understand exactly what they were dealing with. Within hours, the World Security Council convened in their hidden chambers beneath Geneva. Representatives from every nation gathered around a massive circular table, their faces illuminated by the holographic projection of the alien signal analysis. "Ladies and gentlemen," Council President Adebayo began, "what we've long prepared for has finally come to pass. The hegemony, as they call themselves, believes Earth to be a primitive world ripe for conquest. Their fleet approaches from the Carina arm of the galaxy, expecting to find us helpless." He paused, allowing a thin smile to cross his face. "They will find us anything but helpless. Operation Thunderbolt is now in effect. All quantum shield installations are to begin full power tests. Military units will mobilize under the guise of routine exercises. Public revelation protocols are to remain dormant until final phase." Throughout the following weeks, Earth's surface remained peaceful, its populations unaware of the approaching storm. But beneath the waves, in mountain bunkers, and in hidden orbital facilities, humanity's true technological might awakened. Quantum-powered ships emerged from underground hangars for secret trial runs. Soldiers trained in experimental combat suits that could bend light and gravity itself. Dr. Chen continued monitoring the alien communications, piecing together a picture of their civilization. The hegemony consisted of multiple species united under a philosophy of technological supremacy. They expanded through conquest, believing their advanced technology gave them the right to claim lesser worlds. Earth's unusual abundance of quantum-resonant materials made it an irresistible target. What the hegemony's scans couldn't detect was that humans had already mastered these materials in ways the aliens hadn't imagined. While they used quantum mechanics for communication and scanning, humanity had pushed the technology into entirely new realms, creating defensive systems that operated on principles the hegemony science couldn't explain. As the first alien scout ships entered the solar system, humanity held its breath and maintained its deception. Satellite networks continued broadcasting their usual signals. Power plants continued emitting their expected signatures. Military bases showed only conventional weapons and defenses. But deep underground, in the quantum shield control centers, operators watched through advanced sensors as the scout ships approached. They tracked each vessel's movement, analyzed their capabilities, and updated combat simulations. The trap was set. Now they just had to wait for the hegemony to spring it. Their arrogance will be their downfall, Dr. Chen remarked to Director Matthews as they watched the scout ship's movements. They're so convinced of their superiority that they're not even looking for signs of quantum technology. Humanity has always been underestimated, Matthews replied, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Throughout our history, we've faced overwhelming odds and survived. The hegemony thinks they're hunting prey, but they're about to discover they've wandered into a predator's den. As the scout ships completed their survey and prepared to report back to the main fleet, Earth's defenders finalized their preparations. The quantum shields were tested and ready. The counter-invasion forces stood prepared. Humanity's moment of revelation approached, and with it, a chance to prove that technological advancement wasn't just about who had been spacefaring the longest, but about who could think in ways their opponents never imagined. The silent preparation. Beneath the streets of Tokyo, in a facility known only as Deep Station 6, Commander Yuki Tanaka watched as her pilots ran combat simulations in the quantum-enhanced fighter craft. The sleek vessels, their surfaces rippling with nano-adaptive camouflage, moved with impossible grace through holographic asteroid fields while evading simulated alien weapons fire. "Run it again," she ordered, her voice firm but encouraging. "This time, focus on exploiting the quantum wake signatures we detected from their scout ships." The pilots nodded, their neural interfaces glowing softly as they reconnected with their craft's AI systems. 3 months had passed since the discovery of the hegemony's intentions, and humanity's preparations had shifted into high gear. Every major city now concealed vast underground complexes filled with quantum-powered defensive systems. The public remained unaware, going about their daily lives while beneath their feet, the greatest military buildup in human history unfolded. In orbit, disguised as ordinary communications satellites, the first wave of Earth's quantum defense platforms took position. Their true nature hidden by advanced cloaking technology, they waited silently for the command to reveal their devastating capabilities. Dr. James Rodriguez, now operating from the primary quantum shield facility in Australia, coordinated with his counterparts worldwide to fine-tune the planetary defense grid. The quantum shields weren't just defensive barriers. They were gateways to manipulating the very fabric of space-time. The latest simulations show we can trap their entire fleet in a quantum stasis field, he explained during a secure briefing with General Patel. Their advanced drives will actually work against them. The more power they apply, the stronger the containment effect becomes. The general nodded, her holographic image flickering slightly as it was transmitted through quantum-encrypted channels. "And you're certain they can't detect these preparations?" "Positive," Rodriguez replied. "Our quantum masking technology operates on principles their science hasn't even theorized yet. To their sensors, Earth appears exactly as it should, a moderately advanced civilization barely reaching for the stars." Meanwhile, in the Himalayan Command Center, Dr. Sarah Chen worked with a team of quantum physicists to analyze every scrap of data from the hegemony's communications. Each decoded transmission revealed more about their technological capabilities and their limitations. "They've developed their technology along purely linear paths," she explained to the World Security Council during their weekly briefing. "They've never experienced the quantum leap we achieved. Their understanding of quantum mechanics is sophisticated, but it's constrained by their traditional scientific framework. Council President Adebayo leaned forward, his holographic avatar showing keen interest. And this gives us an advantage. A significant one, Chen confirmed. Their sensors, weapons, and defenses all operate on principles we've moved beyond. It's like they're playing chess while we've invented a completely different game. The Council's military advisor, Colonel Maria Santos, stepped in. We've developed combat protocols that exploit this advantage. Our forces are training to engage the enemy using tactics they literally cannot comprehend, let alone counter. As the meeting concluded, a priority alert flashed across all screens. The hegemony's main fleet had been detected entering the Oort cloud. Massive ships, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent, moved with absolute confidence toward their target. In response, humanity's preparations entered their final phase. Quantum-powered vessels, hidden in underwater bases and lunar caves, powered up their systems. Special forces teams, equipped with quantum-enhanced battle suits, took up positions in strategic locations worldwide. The planetary shield grid hummed with potential energy, ready to transform from passive camouflage to humanity's ultimate defense. Dr. Rodriguez stood in his control center, watching real-time data from quantum sensors throughout the solar system. The alien fleet's approach was methodical, arrogant in its assumption of superiority. They had no idea they were sailing into the most sophisticated trap ever conceived. All quantum shield installations report ready, his assistant announced. Global power grid is operating at optimal efficiency. Quantum countermeasure systems are primed and tracking targets. In Singapore, General Patel reviewed the final deployment orders. Earth's forces were positioned perfectly, hidden vessels shadowing the alien fleet, ground-based weapons concealed beneath innocent-looking structures, orbital platforms disguised as debris or outdated satellites. Commander Tanaka's pilots had completed their training, achieving performance levels that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. Their quantum-enhanced fighters waited in underground hangars, ready to demonstrate capabilities that would shock the overconfident invaders. The World Security Council convened one final time before the hegemony's arrival. President Adebayo's expression was solemn as he addressed the representatives of Earth's nations. For centuries, humanity dreamed of first contact with alien civilizations. We imagined peaceful exchanges of knowledge and culture. Instead, we face an empire of conquest. But in preparing for this moment, we have achieved something remarkable. True global unity and technological advancement beyond even our own expectations. He paused, looking at each council member in turn. The hegemony comes expecting to find a primitive world, easy prey for their fleet. They will instead discover that humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to surpass expectations, to achieve the impossible when our survival is at stake. As the alien fleet approached Mars orbit, Earth maintained its carefully crafted appearance of normalcy. Civilian broadcasts continued. Air traffic moved in regular patterns, and military bases showed only conventional defenses. The trap was set, the defenders ready, humanity prepared to reveal its true face to the galaxy. First contact's deception. The hegemony's diplomatic vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere with calculated grandeur, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight in dazzling patterns. As it approached the designated landing zone outside Geneva, thousands of spectators gathered behind security barriers, their phones raised to capture humanity's official first contact with alien life. High Ambassador Vexthor stood at the ship's viewport, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he observed the primitive welcoming ceremony below. Behind him, his advisors reviewed final intelligence reports on their neural displays. Such a quaint reception, he mused, multiple arms adjusting his ceremonial robes. They've barely achieved lunar colonization, yet they think themselves ready for galactic society. His inner eyelids flickered in amusement. On the ground, World Security Council President Adebayo led the public welcoming committee. Flanked by an honor guard carrying ceremonial weapons, he presented the perfect image of an awestruck planetary leader about to meet advanced beings. Only a select few knew that quantum sensors hidden throughout the area were analyzing every aspect of the alien vessel and its occupants. Dr. Sarah Chen monitored the sensor feeds from a cloaked command center beneath the reception area. "Their technology is exactly as we predicted," she reported through her quantum-encrypted neural link. "Advanced, but completely dependent on conventional physics. No quantum capabilities beyond basic communications." The Hegemony delegation emerged from their ship with practiced ceremony. Vex Thor's towering form led a procession of alien dignitaries, each species more exotic than the last. Their translators converted their harmonic speech into Earth's major languages as they approached the human delegation. "People of Earth," Vex Thor's voice resonated across the gathering. "We come in peace, representing the grand hegemony of aligned worlds. Your civilization has been deemed worthy of evaluation for potential membership." President Adebayo bowed slightly, playing his role perfectly. "We are honored by your presence, High Ambassador. Earth welcomes the opportunity to learn from more advanced civilizations." In orbital stations, hidden by quantum fields, General Patel and Commander Tanaka watched the exchange with grim satisfaction. The Hegemony's main fleet held position beyond Mars, their weapons powered down in a show of peaceful intentions. But quantum sensors revealed their true status. Combat systems in standby, ready to activate at a moment's notice. Over the next week, diplomatic meetings proceeded according to the Hegemony's carefully scripted plan. They offered technological trinkets as gifts. Medical advances, improved power systems, basic space drive technologies. Each offering was received with appropriate gratitude and amazement by Earth's leaders. Meanwhile, Dr. Rodriguez coordinated with his global team as they analyzed every piece of alien technology. "They're deliberately providing outdated systems," he reported to the Hidden Command Council. "Technology they consider obsolete, but still far beyond what they think we possess." The Hegemony delegation toured carefully prepared facilities, conventional military bases, standard research laboratories, civilian infrastructure. Everything they saw reinforced their belief in Earth's technological inferiority. Their scans detected nothing beyond their expectations, the quantum shielding making advanced human technology completely invisible to their sensors. High Ambassador Vex Thor grew increasingly confident. During a private meeting with his advisors, their arrogance was plain. "These humans are even more primitive than our initial surveys suggested. They're still using silicon-based computing. For Void's sake, the resource acquisition phase can begin ahead of schedule." Their encrypted communication was intercepted and decoded instantly by Earth's quantum systems. In the Hidden Command Center, President Adebayo received the translation with a grim smile. "They're advancing their timetable. Prepare for Phase 2. The next diplomatic session took place in the UN General Assembly. Vex Thor stood at the podium, his massive form dominating the historic chamber. "The Hegemony has completed its initial evaluation," he announced. "We are prepared to offer Earth a special status within our civilization." The assembled human representatives listened attentively as Vex Thor outlined the Hegemony's proposal. The terms were exactly what Earth's leaders had expected. Thinly veiled colonization wrapped in diplomatic language. The aliens would protect Earth's resources, guide human development, and oversee technological advancement. "We require your answer within one planetary rotation," Vex Thor concluded. "Choose wisely. The benefits of cooperation are considerable." The unspoken threat hung heavy in the air. In secure facilities worldwide, humanity's defenders moved to battle stations. Quantum-powered ships slipped into predetermined positions. Defense grid operators ran final system checks. Special forces teams donned their advanced combat suits. President Adebayo and the World Security Council prepared Earth's official response. It would be delivered exactly as the Hegemony demanded, within one planetary rotation. But first, they would allow the aliens a few more hours of believing in their superiority. "Send word to all commands," General Patel ordered from her quantum-shielded headquarters. "Operation Thunderbolt commences in 6 hours. The Hegemony wants an answer We'll give them one they'll never forget. As night fell over Geneva, Vex Thor returned to his ship, confident in the success of his mission. The humans would accept the hegemony's terms. They had no choice. Such primitive beings could never resist the technological might of his civilization. In the darkness below, Dr. Chen made a final adjustment to the quantum defense grid. All systems optimized, sir. We're ready to show them just how primitive we really are. The stage was set for humanity's greatest deception to become their greatest revelation. In a few hours, the hegemony would learn the true cost of underestimating Earth. The turning point. Dawn broke over Geneva as President Adebayo stood before the assembled hegemony delegation. The Grand Chamber of the United Nations fell silent as he prepared to deliver Earth's response to their ultimatum. High Ambassador Vex Thor, representatives of the hegemony, he began, his voice steady and clear. We have carefully considered your generous offer of protection and guidance. He paused, allowing a slight smile to cross his face. We must respectfully decline. Vex Thor's scales flickered with barely contained rage. You misunderstand, Mr. President. This is not a negotiation. The hegemony has claimed this sector's resources. Your cooperation, while preferred, is not required. At that moment, the hegemony's main fleet began moving from their position near Mars, massive ships accelerating toward Earth. Their weapon systems powered up, energy signatures flaring across quantum sensors. No, Ambassador, Adebayo replied calmly. It is you who has misunderstood. He touched a hidden control panel in his podium. Throughout the chamber, quantum fields shimmered into visibility, trapping the alien delegation in a containment grid. In orbit, Commander Tanaka's voice crackled through quantum-encrypted channels. All fighters, execute Operation Thunderbolt. Show them what humanity can really do. From hidden bases across the planet, Earth's quantum-enhanced fighters erupted into the sky. Their hulls rippled with adaptive camouflage as they engaged their revolutionary dry systems. The alien fleet, still approaching with supreme confidence, suddenly found themselves confronted by technology they couldn't even detect properly. Impossible. Vex Thor raged, his translators struggling with his emotional outburst. Your species barely has spaceflight capability. Dr. Chen's voice came through the chamber speakers, cool and professional. Actually, Ambassador, we've had quantum technology for decades. We just didn't feel the need to broadcast it to potentially hostile aliens. In space, the battle unfolded with devastating efficiency. Earth's fighters, piloted by humans neurally linked with quantum AI systems, moved with impossible speed and precision. Their weapons, based on principles the hegemony had never imagined, tore through advanced alien shields as if they didn't exist. General Patel coordinated the global defense from her command center, watching as humanity's carefully laid trap sprung shut. Activate the quantum shield grid. Let's show them what Earth's primitive technology can really do. Around the planet, massive quantum generators powered up. A shimmering field of energy enveloped Earth, but this was no simple barrier. The quantum shield bent space itself, creating zones where the hegemony's weapons simply ceased to function. Dr. Rodriguez monitored the shield's performance from his Australian facility. The field is stable. Their conventional physics-based weapons can't penetrate our quantum matrix. We've effectively nullified their entire arsenal. In the UN chamber, Vex Thor watched in horror as tactical displays showed his mighty fleet being systematically dismantled by forces they couldn't even properly detect. Earth's quantum technology operated on principles that made their advanced sensors useless, their weapons ineffective, and their defenses meaningless. What are you? He demanded, his earlier arrogance replaced by fear. President Adebayo stood before the contained alien delegation, his dignity unmarred by triumph. We are humanity, Ambassador. We have spent centuries fighting among ourselves, pushing our technology and tactics to the limit. When we detected your first probes years ago, we unified and prepared. Every war game, every simulation, every technological advance was aimed at this moment. In orbit, Commander Tanaka's fighters executed perfect quantum-shifted maneuvers, appearing and disappearing through localized space-time distortions. The hegemony ships, for all their advanced technology, might as well have been standing still. Their flagship is attempting to open a faster-than-light corridor, Dr. Chen reported, activating quantum disruption field. The massive alien vessel's drive flared as it attempted to escape, and then sputtered out as Earth's quantum technology rewrote the local laws of physics. The mighty ship hung powerless in space, surrounded by the wreckage of its fleet. General Patel's voice came through on all channels. All hegemony vessels, power down your weapons and engines. Your technology cannot function within our quantum field. Further resistance will only result in more destruction. In the UN chamber, Vexthor slumped in defeat. His species' characteristic color shifting had faded to a dull gray. "How?" he whispered. "How did we not see this?" Dr. Rodriguez answered through the quantum comm system. "You saw exactly what we wanted you to see, Ambassador. Your civilization's greatest weakness was your assumption that technological progress could only follow your predetermined path. Humanity took a different route, one your sensors couldn't detect and your science couldn't predict." President Adebayo raised his hand, and the quantum containment field around the alien delegation softened. "Now, Ambassador, shall we discuss new terms? As equals this time, perhaps." The battle had lasted less than an hour. Earth's quantum technology had proven so superior that the conflict was less a war and more a demonstration. Humanity had revealed itself not as a primitive civilization to be conquered, but as a force that had leapfrogged centuries of conventional technological development. As the hegemony's surviving ships hung powerless in Earth's orbit, Commander Tanaka allowed herself a small smile. "All fighters, maintain quantum shield coverage. Let's make sure our guests don't try anything foolish while the diplomats work out the details." The turning point had arrived, but not in the way the hegemony had imagined. Earth hadn't just defended itself. It had changed the galaxy's balance of power forever. And this was only the beginning. Victory's price. 3 months after humanity's revelation of its quantum technology, the solar system had transformed. The wreckage of the hegemony's fleet had been cleared from Earth orbit, replaced by gleaming quantum-powered defense platforms that no longer needed to hide their true nature. But the greatest changes weren't visible to the naked eye. In the transformed UN chamber, now equipped with quantum-enhanced communication systems, President Adebayo faced a very different gathering. Representatives from 24 alien civilizations, former members or subjects of the hegemony, had come to Earth not as conquerors or supplicants, but as seekers of knowledge. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the podium, presenting her findings to the gathered species. The quantum revolution wasn't just about military technology, she explained, her words automatically translated by advanced interfaces. It represented a fundamental shift in how we understand reality itself. The aliens listened intently as she described how humanity had discovered principles that their civilizations had overlooked in their rush to expand through conventional means. Some took notes, others sat in stunned silence, but all recognized that the galaxy's balance of power had shifted irreversibly. In orbit, Commander Tanaka supervised joint training exercises between human pilots and selected alien species. Their quantum-enhanced fighters danced through space alongside vessels, now modified with Earth's revolutionary technology. The key, she explained to her alien counterparts, was learning to think beyond traditional limitations. Down in the Australian Quantum Shield facility, Dr. Rodriguez worked with a team of mixed species, studying how different approaches to science could complement each other. "Your civilization's understanding of conventional physics far exceeds ours in many ways," he admitted to his alien colleagues. "Combined with our quantum innovations, imagine what we could achieve together." The former High Ambassador Vexthor, now serving as the liaison between Earth and the remnants of the hegemony, stood in General Patel's Singapore Command Center. His scales had regained some of their luster, but his demeanor remained humbled. "We were so certain of our superiority," he mused, Watching holographic displays of ships moving through quantum-shifted space, we never considered that a younger species might take a completely different path. General Patel nodded, her expression thoughtful. That was your civilization's greatest weakness, not your technology, but your mindset. Humanity has always excelled at thinking outside conventional boundaries. But victory had its price. The revelation of advanced quantum technology had fundamentally altered human society. Cities were being rebuilt with quantum infrastructure. Traditional industries struggled to adapt to new paradigms. The very nature of work, education, and daily life was changing at a pace that challenged humanity's ability to cope. In a secure conference room beneath Geneva, the World Security Council grappled with these changes. President Adebayo led the discussion. We've achieved our immediate goal. Earth is safe, and humanity has taken its place among the stars. But now we face an even greater challenge, managing our own advancement. Dr. Chen presented data showing the rapid proliferation of quantum technology. We're seeing applications we never imagined. Medical breakthroughs, environmental restoration, even modifications to the fundamental forces of nature. We need to ensure these powers are used wisely.